Good morning or afternoon. Welcome to my on-demand for Thursday, October 2nd, the study of contemporary music, high school. A brief history of jazz. Our objectives are the same as Tuesday's class. The origins of jazz in America. African slaves in the American South began using European musical instruments in the early 19th century. They incorporated their tribal music traditions with European minstrel performances. Ragtime and Dixie music, and we talked about Scott Joplin on Tuesday. Scott Joplin and others popularized ragtime music in the late 19th century and early 20th century. There's a picture of him, a portrait. Along with ragtime, Southern Dixie music created many of the foundations for what later would be called jazz. Swing and the big bands. Jazz music became more popular in the 1920s and 1930s with the rise of swing music and the big band orchestras. Many of jazz's pioneers, like Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, were making influential music at this time. Bebop breaks the mold. Jazz's popularity continued to grow in the 1940s, but a counter-jazz movement called bebop influenced what was to come later in jazz music. Musicians like Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie led the bebop movement. Miles Davis and cool jazz. There's his album cover right there. Miles Davis broke from his early bebop days and started a new jazz movement, cool jazz, in the 1950s and the 1960s. So we've already moved up to the 1960s. Remember, I said it was going to be a brief history of jazz. This period had the peak and the start of the decline of jazz's popularity as rock and roll, and that's Chuck Berry right there, was rising at this time. Jazz moves to the fringe. From the 1970s until today, jazz music has lost a lot of its popularity. Experimental artists like Ornette Coleman and the free jazz movement were not popular with mainstream listeners. Ken Burns' documentary on jazz brought back some of the interest in this genre. And that moves us right up to our independent practice. Now you're to watch the movie on jazz. I attached it to the quiz, and I'll probably put it in there again as soon as I can get it uploaded. You need to take the intro to the jazz quiz due October 7th, which is Tuesday. You still have to take the quiz even if you cannot watch the movie, and if that's the case, you'll need to call tech. I hate to tell people to do that, but Brain Honey prefers the MP4s, which I put in to the assignment as well. But I also am going to put in the WMV, so either one. If you can't watch either one of those, then you'll definitely need to call tech. And we'll see you on Tuesday, October 7th, the same day your quiz is due. Bye, everybody. Thank you.